Hello and welcome to Seasonal Anime Impressions for Spring 2022. It's your favorite show on the entirety of the platform, where one man delves deep into every show that comes out in a season and gives lukewarm thoughts on it. Some more analytical, some more not much to say. That's kind of the common recurring theme you'll see if you watch some of these. But let's do my usual introduction to what I look for in this series. I look for three things in all of these seasonal anime. Number three is characters and character designs. I value characters really heavily because this is who you will be spending a lot of time with. Hours even. Could you believe that? I like, to see different styles, clothes, and early impressions to their personality is always something that is the initial hook. Without strong characters, you're not going to have a strong series. Next is visuals. Now, depending on who you are, this may not be a big deal for you, but I tend to like nice polished visuals that complement the media or complement the genre or type of show that is being made. And if it looks washed out, if it's too bright, or maybe it just looks unpolished in general, it's not going to be something I'd like to watch 12 episodes of, and I think someone out there can find that understandable. Finally, the most important part out of every single one of these things I mentioned is entertainment value and audience engagement, which is, self-explanatory. If I'm not enjoying the content, there is pretty much no reason for me to continue watching. Okay, let's jump right into it. Estab-Life, Great Escape, or Establishment in Life. First show of the season. I don't like this advertisement right there. Let's see what Past Me had to say. 3-minute drop. Girls with guns. Girls are pretty basic. Nothing too special. CGI looks pretty decent actually, but nothing Orange Studio comparable. The intro is a pretty weak car chase, not a lot of excitement. Rie Takahashi does a pretty good job as per usual, but I'm not really interested. There we go. First show of the season. Flop. Who could have guessed that? These next two shows aren't available. Gunjou no Fanfare. Fanfare of Adolescence. Let's see what I had to say. 2-minute drop. Right away, they hit you with the type of scene you expect to see at a end of season climax for no reason, and it has zero impact. Newsworthy introduction, bland character. Next. Here's the funny show that I see on Instagram Reels a lot. Aharen-san wa Hakarenai. Hakarenai. Butchered that most likely. 4-minute drop. Yo, someone turn the brightness down. Why is this show blinding to the eye? Someone forgot to adjust the brightness slider. Also, the show sucks, but that was a given. The first few minutes is spent with your typical black-haired MC social reject with a companionship fantasy. His counterpart is a lolly that says nothing. What a fantastic character. He practiced smiling to be friendly. What an awesome and wholesome Chungus moment. This goes into the category of shows for horny dudes that get no hose or stack no paper. Yep. Next, Shadowverse Flame. 1-minute drop. Who did the mixing for the audio? Oh my god, please turn down the SFX. It's so loud compared to the voice actors, you can barely hear them. Then you get 50 sound bites destroying your eardrums. It's also just budget Yu-Gi-Oh! Not really interested. Next. You know, I've actually gotten pretty good at speedrunning these seasonal impressions. Love all play. 3-minute drop. First 15 seconds seems promising, then after the OP, they hit you with the still frames and the boring character designs. The reason it's so easy to speedrun now is because I have all of the thoughts I had of watching the show just put in the comments now, instead of just trying to muster up memories of what actually happened in the show, which is not as accurate, obviously, as my immediate thoughts after watching it. Shokei, Shoujo, no Virgin Road, The Executioner, and Her Way of Life. Something that distracts me a bit in this show is that the only people that really look like anime characters are the only ones. Hold on. The only people that really look like anime characters are the main ones, and the same care or respect isn't extended to the rest of the people of the world, which is just kind of inconsistent considering that considering in the show they say that all of the summons from the isekai only come from Japan, yet most of the citizens dress up like Victorian England, which doesn't really make any sense. JC Saf's show. Wow. Actually, the intro to this, I watched the entire episode, right? And the intro part of this show was actually quite decent, and maybe like when they flipped like the show into like a little bit of a twist, then I was like a little bit. I mean, I was still interested, but then they just kind of butchered the rest of the episode, which was kind of boring because it was fine until the 12-minute mark, and then after that, I was like, I really don't care anymore. Okay. Why didn't I log this one? I feel like I did watch this one. I must have just skipped that. Whatever. Next. Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. The assets look terrible, nothing really happens except a bit of talking in your average introduction to a shonen. Not a fan of the yelling 20 seconds in. Rather brief. Otome games Sekai wa mob ni Kibishii Sekai desu. Trapped in a dating sim, the world of Otome games is tough for mobs. 2-minute drop. You know, you could have not blue-balled me with the main plot and jumped right in. Instead, we are just doing nothing with this social reject character playing a dating sim, moaning for 2 minutes about how much he hates the sim and how much he hates rich people, blah blah blah. Black Rock Shooter, Dawnfall. Completed the entire episode, believe it or not. My first introduction to the Black Rock Shooter franchise has shown me a common theme. Pretty much everyone is naked. Beyond that, there were a few cool action scenes and shots, but there's a bit of boring exposition and downtime during the middle of the episode. The CGI is bad, but obviously not bad enough considering I watched the entire episode. It was mildly entertaining, I'll give it that. Mildly entertaining, you heard it here, folks. But I dropped it. Healer Girl. 7-minute drop. I think I like the concept of it being a couple of girls learning to be healers through the power of music, especially when it didn't turn out to be a joke show with where it turns sadistic or whatever. But my problem is that the characters are a bit too naive and non-confrontational in a short span of minutes. Or in a short span of minutes, it was clear that these characters would not be what a show like this would need to carry some necessary drama or ideas through casual conversation. Sorry, Healer Girl. Yuusha, Yamemasu, I'm quitting heroing. No way. Oh my god, it's a total subversion of our expectations. The hero wants to join the bad guys. No shot. In addition to that, he was a black spiky hair. He has black spiky hair, which means I already know this is gonna be a banger. 4-minute drop. Paripi Koumei, ya boy Kong Ming. 12-minute drop. It's a funny concept for about 12 minutes until I realized that the entire show was just going to be him transforming from a Chinese historical figure into a relationship with a random hottie. Not a terrible concept, but what's annoying is that this clearly Japanese person is a singer who sings in English, which one raises inconsistencies with the characters, and also it's just bad to the ear. It is also apparent that the creators of the show really want you to fall for the main girl because every second she is on the screen they give her the full spotlight, highlighting a fair bit of her physical features, if you understand me. Also, it's really boring when they don't bother to sync her lips to the music at all and it looks terrible. Bye, Kongmin. Meitantei, Conan, Zero no tea time. Detective Conan, Zero's tea time. 4-minute drop, the models look pretty bad. Also, I'm not interested in watching a coffee shop show. The last one I finished was Blend-S, which aired way back when, and at least that show had cute girls as the premise. The production on this show looks washed as hell. I don't really like the style of it, but maybe it's just the Detective Conan series that looks like that. I don't know. Oh shoot, I didn't introduce it. I have to introduce it. You guys are gonna love this show. It's called Birdie Wing Golf Girls Story. 2-minute drop. I kind of gave up when I saw one of the characters' names was Christina. There you go. Day, Daimon. Daimon Recipe for Happiness. 1-minute drop. Dramatic character introduction straight into OP. Come on now. Come on. Squid Game. Tomodachi Game, otherwise known as Squid Game. I'm pretty sure this is actually just Squid Game, but anime, but kind of sucked. 2-minute drop, Squid Game. I gave up when they did the text boxes near their heads instead of properly doing anything with each character. I mean, if you're gonna be lazy, at least don't do the text boxes. Come on, come on now. RPG Fudousan, RPG Real Estate. 3-minute drop. I mean, compared to the rest of what I've seen so far, this show was a bit better than most, but I just couldn't stick around for these characters. Like, bro, our main character's cleavage is so blatantly gargantuan compared to her stature that the eventual boob reveal is going to be corny as hell, and I don't want to be there. Yeah, so the the premise of this show is that it's like 4 lollies, and I guess they're going to be doing cute things, but I I just I don't care that much. Shijou, Saikyou no Daimaou, Murabito, Ani, Tensei, Suru. The greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody. 2-minute drop, just your run-of-the-mill OP dude born in a new body, don't care. Here we go. Now we can finally get a longer segment because I actually wrote a lot about Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2's first episode, which I immediately dropped because I hate this series to my core. I hate it. It's not even okay. So here's the thing about Shield Hero, right? It's terrible, but not terrible to the point where I'll watch it because I actually might ironically have something to like draw from it. Like SAO, I am fully caught up. I have watched every single part of it. It's a grueling and just heart-tearing experience. You will people that say they've watched like 500 episodes of terrible shows like Fairy Tail or whatever, I don't know, whatever. Name a terrible like really long-running show. SAO is 5 billion times worse and I've watched it. I've watched it. Don't play with me. I'm a sick man. I am a sick man. Okay? And this show is not even worth watching even more of this. It's so bad that I refuse to watch any more of it. In fact, I don't care. During the seasonal impressions, I am lower. I have it at a 2 right now. I just remembered I'm lowering this to a 1. I don't care. That's that terrible. It's that terrible. I think it's probably the worst show I've ever laid eyes on. Actually, that's not true. The worst isekai. Let's get that. Let's get that in order. Okay, time to begin. You know, I was told beforehand that this new episode of Shield Hero was terrible, and yet I was still surprised when it was. Okay, let's get down to business. I never noticed this, but I just now saw that Philo calls Shield Dude Master, and I have to say more than ever, I'm a bit creeped out by the implications the author intended for this relationship. Because by all means, you can have your lolly characters and whatnot, and I'll be cool, especially if they have a personality beyond the or the horse blinders of I have to protect my master from everything like Philo has. One example of a lolly character using master in a cool way is in Lucky Star, where Konata, or Konata, I think it's pronounced, who in a specific scene is working at a maid cafe with the theme of the maids being Haruhi characters. And to welcome her friends into the cafe, she says the classic maid cafe line of "Welcome back, master." And her friends are a mix of frightened but excited. Then we actually get to see how the dynamic of her working at a maid cafe is actually cool for her character. What is not cool is Philo's only notable character trait being a slave to Naofumi. I mean, bro, are we gonna forget that this dude is not the most ethical individual ever? His trauma aside, this dude was an actual slave owner whose slave got Stockholm Syndrome. Then, of course, we have Philo, who in our purpose is a beefy animal companion, but also a slave. But not technically. You wouldn't see Philo disobeying Naofumi's every command, is what I'm getting at. In addition to this, are we not going to forget the Hot Springs episode? Yeah, because I didn't. I wonder what awesome character ha-has the author had in mind with a hot spring which has the effect of making the user have success in love. Wow, I can't believe how convenient that would be. I'm just not buying the whole master thing. I know the author wants it, which is why they wrote it. Alright. I really don't get that. Like, the master thing. I feel like it's just some weird fetish thing that both the viewers and the author are supposed to acknowledge. More so the author, I think. We don't have any idea who they are or what they represent, but all I know is that I I don't know what sane individual can defend that Hot Springs episodes and be like, yeah, this dude is not thinking about having coitus with all of these characters despite their despite their promiscuous appearances sometimes. Anyway, next point. The first 3 minutes is a snooze, with the gang mindlessly chopping enemies down to build up to some ominous new enemy or something. Then we cut to the title card, an episode name, which is called A New Roar. Now, this is indeed a nitpick, but I do think the episode title is corny as hell. Like, no one is going to no one is going to be talking episode names, I know, but really, A New Roar is so unbelievably boring. Next up is the whole Malty, aka red hair girl thing. She is still being called a slut. I don't know what crack anyone making this show is smoking, but I just cannot believe that even happened. I forgot about the whole thing about her being called a slut forever because it was so damn stupid. I just pushed it out of my mind and burned it in a house fire. Why? Why didn't we kill her? It makes no sense. Really interesting character now, guys. Everyone and their grandma is calling her a slut because it's a funny haha. And then we can't forget the whole boring melodrama between Rishia, aka Green Hair Girl, and Itsuki, aka Green Haired Hero. As if I'm to actually care about this nobody and her damn problems. I hate this show. I hate it too, past me. I hate it too. And now I'm going to actually say something good briefly. I'm glad that I didn't have to hear the plan about how they're going to take this whole tortoise thing down because you know what? It's just boring, droning dialogue that pisses me off. That's it. That's the only good part of this episode. After that, they go talk to Budget Agile from Sword Art Online, if you didn't get that awesome reference. Okay, now we talk about what I'm really suspect about. I know this author is playing a sick joke. I know it. No one can convince me otherwise that this author wants to have sex with every member of the harem. Somehow, the next scene transition is Raftalia coercing Rishia, aka Green Hair Girl, to become Naofumi's slave. Okay, like, what is that, man? Like, really? The worst part isn't that she even said yes to becoming the slave, it's that Naofumi agrees to make her his slave. Like, what? On my mama, this is the worst show ever. There's no way I'm watching a real show. I refuse to believe it. I refused. In addition to this, Naofumi makes these weird as hell remarks about her giving hard training, and Itsuki just doesn't give your typical anime rejection of eh? No, she has to flap her hands in the air like a maniac and act like it's a sexual thing, which in my mind is probably what the author wanted. Screw this author. One more member to the growing harem. Awesome. Yeah, I was just, I don't want to say I was enraged, but I was definitely just like, literally just why? Why is that a thing? He needs another slave. This can't be real. I'm not, his harem just grows bigger and bigger, but this time they're actually just obliged to follow him to the ends of the earth because they're his slaves. I don't understand. This is not how you write characters. Her entire personality is that she makes noises. Okay, next up, let's talk about tone. I know, boring, but I want to make this point. Now let's jump back to the initial episodes of Shield Hero. In what phrases do you think best describe it? Dark, sadist, grunge, etc. I don't think you could go wrong with how Shield Hero started, especially because it had such solid foundational episodes. But it managed to do that, obviously. It raises the question, why exactly did we switch to this upbeat and can-do attitude that the following training montage portrays? It just shows everyone having fun, smiling, everything is bright and cheerful, but I can't help but think about the swift change that occurred after that initial episode run. It's nothing I want to dwell deep on, but take it from my perspective. I thought Shield Hero had pretty much stolen my anime of the season. Back then, after only 3 episodes, it had gritty isekai stuff and a forlorn main character estranged from his posse. A man who, in his sorrow, would obtain a slave to help him succeed. Showing that he had pretty much been driven mad from his previous lifestyle of being a normal human in society. But now it almost seems pitiful to see his character and the world around him grow so much in a positive direction rather than in the negative, which ironically is one of my biggest negatives. Okay, so that's a lot to digest. But if you didn't understand what I said, basically like the tone of the original episodes is so interesting. Let's just say that for a second. It's interesting. It hooks you, properly hooks you, and then shows you how a man who, in spite of an isekai situation, right, it explores like the transitional period of mental status before or after an isekai happens, and it would examine what would happen if you were actually excommunicated from the society that you were meant to protect or whatever, and basically you have to make ends meet by basically abandoning all your natural human instincts and stuff like that, and I think it explored that correctly. And then after that initial stretch of episodes, we seem to just be building on top of just more stupid ideas, more decentralized like side plots or whatever, where we're not focused on either restoring his faith in humanity or restoring his faith in civilization, because he at that point had zero trust in actual upper civilization and he was entirely skeptical. But now it seems that he's a very positive, uplifting individual who will do the right thing just because he feels like it. But what I don't get is that this whole moral compass that he has now is completely just devoid of what actually made him special as a main character, especially because if we think about it, the choices that he made were in his own, were in pursuit of basically preserving his own life and making his life as easier as possible, and to basically show the world or show people that actually knew about him that he wasn't like a terrible individual, but he was like, I guess, cruel in some ways. I don't know. You could have gone a lot of ways with it. I just don't see how we can go anywhere with his current character. Anyway, last few notes in case you plan to watch this show. I would not be surprised if it goes nowhere. Expect nothing interesting to happen at all for the entire season, or if you hate everything I said, enjoy the show. We get 3 seasons of Shield Hero, but one of Made in Abyss. Thank you, Past Me, for your incredible insight. Gaikotsu Kishi-sama Taidama Isekai Ode Kakechu Skeleton Knight in Another World. Now, this opening sequence is just abysmal. It's even worse than Goblin Slayer, actually. 1 minute drop. The first minute is a girl getting sexually assaulted, so that's something. The synopsis is a bit misleading, considering I'm bombarded with that right off the bat. The thing is, right after they play the OP after that sequence, it's like super like mellow and something you typically expect out of a show like this, but the first sequence is just so like why? Like why? I don't get it. Is this has violence and profanity. This doesn't even mention just blatant just initial 10 seconds just hey guys, 2 girls getting sexually assaulted. So boring. Shachiku-san wa yojo yore ni iya saratai Miss Shachiku and the little baby ghost. 6 minute drop. I got really bored. Not to mention I'm just not a fan of office comedies, especially if they have a stupid twist like in this show. Heroine Tarumono Kirawa Aware Heroine to Naisho no Oshigoto to become a real heroine, the unpopular girl in the secret task. 2 minute drop. Inori Minase as the main girl is too pitched for me. Don't think I'll ever be able to listen to her do this stupid voice for an entire show. I don't know what crack she's smoking or what helium balloon she inhaled before recording for this show, but her voice is so pitched. Why? Mahoutsukai Reimeiki, The Dawn of the Witch. 3 minute drop. I don't know what's worse, the boring monologue from our boring black spiky haired MC or the immediate panty shot on the witch lolly. Koi wa Sekai Seifuku no Ato de. I don't want this ad. Love after world domination. 2 minute drop. What if the leader of the Power Rangers and the leader of the evil guys were dating? Maybe a concept if the production didn't suck and the characters that didn't look like garbage. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm already losing my mind. Kaguya-sama wa Korosekai, ultra romantic. Kaguya-sama, Love is War, ultra romantic. Oh my god. I watched the entire episode and I want to watch more. Thank the Lord. Good stuff in terms of first episode. In terms of first episodes, this does it right. Funny enough to get me smiling, so that's all you need. Not much to say there. Does everything right. Can't go wrong with this show. I mean, you could go wrong with this show. I mean, the first arc of the second season was boring as hell, and I can't see how anyone would care about that president race at all. But it's whatever. The show hopefully will move. If they don't start dating by the end of this season, I'm pretty much done with the series because this is way too long at this point. Even Clannad didn't take this long. And I had it was a grueling process getting through Clannad. Ah, Spy X Family. I do like what the show has to offer, but I'm not yet sure why. Its characters are not that interesting as of now, and their designs, eh. I'm ready for some dynamics to happen, but I'm not sure how this one pans out. So yeah, I only watched the first episode, but I don't understand like what's like the phenomenon behind this show yet. I mean, it has a 9.9 on MAL, which is I don't know, like it's whatever, I guess. It also just like the designs are alright. I mean, the main dude, I mean, take it or leave it. The main little girl, take it or leave it. Who cares? Um, I don't know if the concept is something I'm interested in yet because it's sort of like, yeah, it's giving me like spy vibes a little bit, but I feel like I was more interested by the first episode of Banana Fish, which aired all the way back in like 2018, I want to say. Um, and that had like more Western vibes, which this show definitely has. Like all the characters are not typically like anime-esque, except for the little girl and maybe the wife when she comes into the picture, but the main dude and all the other older characters remind me of just um the designs of like something you'd see in Monster, but with less grimy set pieces and a less dark theme, I guess. Don't know how this one pans out. Wit Studio and Cloverworks. Cloverworks, you know how I feel about them. If you don't, I think they suck and they haven't done anything good since Promised Neverland season one and Bunny Girl season one. Or I guess there's only one season, just Bunny Girl, the TV show, not the movie. The movie sucks. It's terrible. And then the rest of their works are just still terrible. Wit Studio, I will I mean, they're really competent, I'll tell you that. But I haven't really watched a full product from them since Attack on Titan season 3 part 2 is the last one they worked on, I want to say. Um, I don't know why they dropped the project. I think they did a better job. They still would have done a better job than Mappa, especially because their art director is so visionary. Or I don't want to say visionary, but defining for the show's style in the initial running of it. But I guess it's just not like financially sustainable. It is a very intensive show, to be fair, but it is one of the largest shows ever, so you'd be making like, I don't know, maybe you'd break even. I have no idea. Dance, Dance, Danseur. 2 minute drop. I don't know why anyone thought someone would be impressed watching a 2 minute clip of a random dude doing ballet and little kid noises scattered throughout the performances, like ah, oh, and then they add the sparkle effects and shooting stars for the dramatic climax. Nice job, Mappa. Nice job. Yato Game-chan. Kansatsu Niki on Satsume. 1 minute drop. Spent the first 30 seconds just audience disclaimering, and the punchlines were just boring, and I didn't get it. God. Ao Aishi. Ashi. 2 minute drop. Soccer show. Not interested. If I was, I'd just watch Captain Tsubasa. Kawaii Takeja. Nice. Shikimori-san. Shikimori's just not a cutie. What a terrible title. 3 minute drop. So his personality is that he's a klutzoid, and her personality is that she's cute. What an amazing concept. Konichi Subaki no Mune no Uchi. In the heart of Kunoichi Subaki. I don't know how to pronounce that. 36-second drop. Oh, I was rather specific with this one. The first line is men are horrible, things to be feared. Then we cut to a scantily dressed lolly shinobi that blushes and says, "But why is it that my heart is beating so fast? Doki doki." Nice job, Cloverworks. You guys still defending them or what? Kono healer, Mendo Kusai. Don't hurt me, my healer. 10-second drop, exposition dump. Okay, this is the part of the season where I just gave up and just started just like insta dropping because I was just so fed up with this garbage. Onipan, exclamation mark. 45-second drop, even though these are 3-minute shorts, the voice actors sound like they aren't even trying or they are tone deaf. Summertime render. Summertime rendering. 2-minute drop. Dramatic scratchy flashback segue into plunging his face into a random woman's breasts. Final show. Kako no Inazuke. Couple of cuckoos. 4-minute drop. Flashback into black spiky haired MC into sister with giant breasts into said sister information dumping everything about our MC and I stopped caring. And that is it. That's every show except for one, which I'll probably watch and or on my own accord, and then it'll be whatever. This is the only show that I didn't watch, but I I I have a heavy I have a heavy I don't know, doubt that it will be something that I'll even care enough to watch the full episode of. So I wouldn't get your hopes up and be like, "How dare you miss science fell in love, so I tried to prove it R equals 1 minus sine of theta." What a what a fantastic show that I missed. Um, all right, let's talk about shows that pass screening and shows that are worth watching, I guess. Let's see how many shows pass screening. One, two. And then this was left over from last season. I didn't even bother to watch another episode of it. Two shows made it past screening. Spy X Family and Kaguya. Um, yeah, I think I can confidently recommend Kaguya's first episode. Not too sure about Spy X Family's first episode as a confident recommendation. Uh, I think that you will have a fun time watching Kaguya if you do decide to pick up the third season. But then again, this is third season, so if you haven't even watched it, right, there's nothing for you to watch this season other than Spy X Family, which passed screening, but I won't be recommending. I mean, on the bright side, I got new Kendrick Lamar song out today, so that's a good thing, right, guys? I'm not going insane. I'm not. Anyway, uh, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a swell season of incredible shows that I am falling in love with as we speak, and I'm definitely not about to fall asleep because I'm so unbelievably bored.